So here we go, jumping into a reaction video to Elliott Hulse. Elliott Hulse, great man, respect him a lot. Really, really helped shape me growing up in a lot of ways. At 16, 17, watching his videos. Really, really inspirational guy. Let's hear what he has to say about the hard truths of life at age 24 on the last day that I'll ever be 24. What do you got to say, Elliott? Let's hear you.
Your life is supposed to suck right now. I know your life is supposed to suck right now because
Good, because my life does kind of suck in a lot of ways. It's also awesome, but
my life sucked.
we do that too, projecting. Hope it's not just projecting. Like, my life sucked, so your life's got to suck now. Maybe.
At 24 and 25.
That's a good point. I do think if your life doesn't suck at 24, you're probably just not trying anything hard enough.
I was living in my father-in-law's basement with a bunch of nasty cats that were pooping
My dad's helping me pay the rent.
all over the place, and it smelled like piss down there all the time. I had no job. I didn't even have a job. I was in between jobs around that time. I had a personal training job, and they fired me. And then I didn't know what to do. My parents left. My parents went down to Florida around that time, and I was still living up in New York. It was a freezing cold winter. I remember that winter. I got fired. It was a cold ass winter, a lot of snow, and I got sick. I got more sick than I think I've ever gotten in my life. It was crazy.
I feel like I had this happen to me a few years ago. I feel like I went through my dark night of the soul like 2 years ago, and now I'm coming out of it.
I had $10,000 in savings, and it was like, and my wife earned, it was about half of us, you know, because she was a teacher back then too. She was working. And we lost it. That's all I had. I saved that up. Like a bunch of it was from our wedding. I lost it because we were trying to get a house at the same time. I'm telling you about all the shitty things that happened when I was about 25. We were having a baby. The baby was coming, and we wanted to buy a house on Long Island, not too far from my parents. We had $10,000, and then we put it as a down payment on the house, and we were going to move forward with it. But things changed. Our values changed. Actually, I decided that, you know what, it's better to keep you home. Like, you're gonna have to go back to work 3 months after the baby comes if we take this house. And so we asked for the money back from the lady. We thought she was a nice old lady. She said, no, I'm keeping your money and I'm selling the house to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like,
Purchase and sales agreements are really serious. My dad's in real estate, and I was kind of raised in real estate, and like, got to be careful about those purchase and sales agreements, guys. Those are really, really enforceable in the U.S.
I lost all my money. I was sick as a dog.
Even if you don't give them the money, if you sign the purchase and sales agreement, they still got you on the hook.
My parents moved and left. I didn't know what I was going to do for my life. I know I wanted to be a personal.
It reminds me of when my wife was first pregnant, and I was living in the room above the garage in my parents' house, and like I was like having constant diarrhea like 12 times a day, and I couldn't leave the house because I was stuck on the toilet, and I was just like, "What am I gonna do?" I figured it out though, and now here we are.
Trainer. That I knew. I want to be a personal trainer. I mean, I want to be a strength coach. I want to teach people how to get strong.
Me too.
But I had no idea how I was going to do that. I had no money. So we moved down to Florida with my parents. So here I am again now, 25. And I'm living in my parents' house with my wife and my baby. So it was a step up from my father-in-law's basement. But now I'm living in my parents' new Florida house. And I'm working from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And I did that 6 days a week. On Sunday, they closed the gym
I literally could not do that. My body would give out and I would die, and that was how I ended up shitting my brains out constantly. Depends how good your health is when you start. His health is a lot better than mine, clearly.
a little early. So I'll get home a little bit earlier. I did that for almost a year. And I really wasn't making very much money at all. I was breaking my face. I remember I was so befuddled and dumbfounded. I didn't know how people made money. I was like, I'm working my face off. I'm training all these people. I'm like,
It's so frustrating.
I'm in like 100,000.
.com secrets, expert secrets, traffic secrets, and anything that's over 50 years old about money people are still reading. That's how you make money.
$1,000 in debt, student loans. I'm paying off my wife's student loans, my student loans.
Just follow me. I'll give you tips on how to make money.
And I remember walking down the street in like a nice neighborhood one day, and funny thing, like I ended up living in that neighborhood like
That's how it goes.
10 years later on that same block. That's mind blowing. Ended up living on that same block, but I remember because we lived in like kind of a ghetto area. When my wife and I finally got a place by ourselves, I would drive all the way up to, it was called Old Northeast in St. Pete. I would drive all the way up to Old Northeast just to walk around the nice neighborhood. And I walk around the nice neighborhood and I look at these houses and I shake my head. I'm like scratching my head. Like, how do people buy these? Like, there's nothing I wanted more than anything but a house for my wife and for my family. That's all I wanted. You know, I'm not like, I don't want much. You know, I just want to take care of my family. I love my family. And I couldn't figure out, like, how do you save up? Like, you know, in order to buy one of those houses, I would have to save up like $100,000 for a down payment, right? You know, like depending, you know, that was back in 2000, you know, the early 2000s also. So like the bubble, the real estate bubble was huge. And then right before my life was about to get going, like I started strength camp, the bubble burst, it popped, and then we went into a depression. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like a recession in 2008. People were losing their houses, they were losing their jobs.
Here I theory on recessions. Recessions are not experienced simultaneously by the entire economy. So if you just move from the part of the economy that's not experiencing the recession to the other part that's not experiencing the recession, you'll be fine.
I am like just starting out trying to get clients in a warehouse. I had a little warehouse. Let me tell you about my warehouse gym, my old warehouse gym. You know, here I am, you know, maybe about 27 at the time. And I don't know why this guy leased this to me, but I did not have the money to pay for that damn rent. I used credit cards to pay for my first 3 rents for 3 months. You know, when the credit card companies send you a check in the mail and they're like, hey, all you got to do is sign this check and the money is yours. I signed checks like that and gave them to I had like 3 of them and I signed them over to my landlord. And at the time we were starting to have babies at that time too, man. So I guess, you know, I'm creating a pity party here with you right now, letting you know that, like, yo, bro, my life sucked at 24. Life is hard when you're 14 because I had a hard time between the ages of 12 and 14. I didn't understand the cycles of life at the time. But I thought back, I was like, man, those are some tough times. And I'm like, why am I going through tough times again now? I'm in 24. Then when I turned 36, I looked back and I was like, wait a second. 12, 24, 36, my life got shitty again. You know, it was just another one of those cycles because I went into winter time again. So you just got to hang in there and recognize that it's a cycle, it's a rhythm, it's normal, it's natural. You're exactly where you got to be. The worst thing you can do is worry. The worst thing you could do is try to predict. The worst thing you could do is try to make something happen. The best thing you could do is be grateful. That's the first thing I started with. The best thing you could do is be open. The best thing that you could do is be receptive. The best thing that you could do is love.
There is a tide in the times of man, which when taken at its zenith, leads on to sudden and total victory. It's a Napoleon quote. Be sensitive to the field.
Love yourself the way that God loves you during this time. And even if things on the outside don't look like the way you want them to look, turn your eyes away and consider all that's on its way.
Porn. 68% of church-going men watch it secretly, hiding
Okay, well, it's a great video. See you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m.